We want real town halls. Our members of Congress work for us and represent us, and there are a lot of us who do not agree with the Trump agenda or anything that he stands for. As far as her blind allegiance in the Trump administration, Diane Black needs to explain herself. It is easy to get caught up in the power and money in Washington, but that does not give her the right to turn her back on her constituents in her district. But Indivisible is fighting back. We are persistently calling into question every move that Trump and Black have made in Congress. We make phone calls and faxes. We make office visits. We protest. We have prayer vigils. We are having this mock town hall. And as soon as we can line up a pontoon boat, we are going to have an event on the water in our backyard. Our next event will be another candlelight vigil at Diane Black's house in Gallatin. It's 1254 Wave Crest Circle on May 30th at 7 p.m. We are better organized every week. We are bigger and stronger every week. Okay, so now, our panel tonight, we have the alternate Diane Black, the Stacey Tompkins from Gallatin. And on the other side, we have Amos Powers. He's from Cookeville. He is the chair of the Putnam County Democrat Party, and he is the vice chair of the Tennessee County Chair Association. The rules are as follows. We will let you ask the question. We will give our Diane Black 1 minute to answer, and then we will give Amos a minute to answer. And you ready for the fun? You both all have the green and red papers. If you like what they say, hold up the green one. If you don't, hold up the red one. Anybody with the first question? Oh, come on. Somebody's got to start us off. Well, I'm starting to hurt.
You're fine. Go for it.
Congressman Black wrote me a message, an email that I actually posted on websites and shared with people, and it said that the Obamacare was going to be replaced by something that would have cheaper premiums and smaller deductibles and would cover everybody, and that nobody would lose their insurance. And the way I read what happened with the American Health Care Act, that the representative voted for as both a committee chairman and in another committee, that's just not so. I'd like an explanation.
Well, sir, thank you for asking that question. Rescuing my district, because y'all want to be rescued, right, has been my top priority in the formation of this bill. And as we all know, Obama lied about people being able to keep their doctor. So, in the state of Tennessee, we liked the risk pool that we had. And so Obamacare was just something that had to be repealed with, something much better, much, much better. As a nurse, I just laugh at people like the AMA, the CBO, the Nurses Association, who say that this bill will hurt millions and millions of people. Thank you for asking that question.
I would have voted against this piece of legislation because it would have increased the amount of people without insurance by 52 million people by the year 2026. And it would also cause people with pre-existing conditions wouldn't be denied insurance, but they would be able to charge people more. And someone who does have a pre-existing condition, I would be charged more. And they can charge the elderly people in the district and across the nation up to 5 times more than they would charge somebody at the age of 26. So this was a very bad piece of legislation, and it will cut jobs at hospitals and could even affect hospitals here in the district that could possibly close in the future if it continues and we do not get somebody else in there or repeal this law. So it's time that the Democrats step up and start voting 60 times to repeal this law.
Very good, Agnes, thank you. Anybody, who's next? Come on up, Sharon.
I have a specific question.
No, come on up. Gotta have a mic, just like
All
me.
right, cool. All right.
Factory worker, worked at a job for X number of years, has good insurance. The factory decides to close down, is moving to another country, or is just plain going out of business. The insurance is gone. The only option for this person would be COBRA, which everyone knows is extremely expensive. This person now needs to find another job with insurance because he has a wife and 2 children. Wife has a medical condition. One of the children has asthma. The other one is allergic to bee stings. Now, how long does this person have to get a job with insurance? And what if that job that he gets pays well, but the insurance is not effective because he's a new hire for 60 days? What are the consequences?
Thank you for asking that question. That's a great question. As a nurse, I saw the impact of healthcare decisions in Washington play out every day in my patients' faces and on their billing statements. And I think, having the conditions that you mentioned would be sad and terrible. So I decided then and there that I could go to Washington to do more, to make Washington inject themselves more into every American's healthcare decisions. As we know, anyone who's read the bill, and I have not, it's very long, this plan provides tax credits to make health insurance more affordable for the exact reason that you said. It enhances health savings accounts and, those great risk pools that we love so much in Tennessee before Obama came in and
Not answering the question.
I don't think you gave him an answer. I'm sorry.
One thing that I would do if I was in Congress is, as you all know, President Obama regulated Wall Street after the financial crisis. And so we need to regulate the insurance companies because if you buy insurance today, it should be effective today and not 60 days from now or even longer. And another thing that we need to do, instead of getting tax breaks in the healthcare law to the most wealthiest people in America, let's give those tax breaks to small businesses so they can find better health insurance for their employees. And not only will it cost them less, but it also costs their employees less.
I have one additional statement. In the law says that you have 61 days. If you do not have insurance for, 63 days. You wrote the law. 63 days. If this person, and this is a hypothetical question, if this person loses their job, is not able to find another job for 30 days, if they're lucky, and then gets a job with a company, and it takes 60 more days before he can get on that company's insurance. Every single pre-existing condition is excluded from the new insurance. Preach it, sister.
I'd like to respond to that. I'm a Christian, and I ran on a platform of family values. And speaking of values, did you know that I'm the 10th wealthiest member of Congress as of 2014? And that my house is valued at $11.5 million.
Great
Imagine that. Now, if there is any Christian who is going to be in touch with the struggles of working class constituents, like the factory worker that you mentioned, you all know that it's this Christian nurse. My husband and I are very blessed to give to many unnamed ministries, but not one more red cent to my homeless brother-in-law, Don. Do you hear me? Not one. I will not give to those who do not work or show proper appreciation for it. It was my Christian family values that led me to vote in 2013 to require federal work requirements for people needing food stamps. And it was also my Christian values that drove me to vote in 2014 to cut food stamps. Now, you mentioned 60 days, 61 days, 39 days. As a Christian, I'm just going to say, it only took God 7 days to make the whole world. So I don't think that there would be too much problem. 60 days shouldn't be too burdensome. Thank you. Thank you for that.
Well, I'm sorry, Congresswoman Black, but being a Christian, you can't just profess your faith and expect someone to, say that that is a Christian. Like, you have to actually get out there and do the work and be the hands and feet, as I read in the article, the hands and feet of Christ, if that's what you believe in.
You can actually refer to me as Chairman Black. I like to be called Chairman of the House Budget Committee. As we all know, when a 9th grader enters high school, they don't call a female 9th grader a fresh woman. I would like to be called Chairman of the House Budget Committee, where I can make all these wonderful decisions, because my views on women's rights align much more closely with those of crusty old white men. Yes, thank you. Apologies to crusty white men.
Okay, we have another question? Anna, sorry.
Congressman Black, you talked a lot about how you're nervous. What I haven't heard you say is that you've been patient. In fact, when we met 2 weeks ago, you were extolling how healthy you are, that healthcare savings accounts are the better choice for you, personally. I'm 44 years old. I have cystic fibrosis. The life expectancy for someone with cystic fibrosis right now is 40 years. Last year, my medical costs were $500,000, and I'm healthy compared to most of the 30,000 Americans who have cystic fibrosis. When the Affordable Care Act was passed, I no longer had to worry about lifetime caps. I no longer had to worry about my pre-existing condition being a problem if I moved jobs. And so I've had several years of not worrying about those things. The Affordable Care, the AHCA, brings back all of those concerns for me. I'm still employed even though I qualify for disability and have for 14 years. But I'm worried if something happens that I can no longer work, I'll be pushed into a high-risk pool, which you seem to think a whole lot about, with a 6-month waiting period. For me, 6 months without the medication that I need every time I eat is a death sentence. How are you going to support the 30,000 Americans who live with this reality?
Thank you, Anna. Thank you for that question. And I will pray for you.
That's all you want to say?
And you mentioned 40 years, and that's how long I've been a nurse. So I think I've been very patient with your question.
I believe that people in the district shouldn't have to choose between paying for their medicine and choosing to eat. So we have to change this law again so that people not only have insurance, but they're not kicked off because of pre-existing conditions, don't have a cap on how much they spend a year on health care, but also where we can get people to where, you know, they can, if they need to go to their own doctor, they can, and not one that their healthcare plan says that they have to go, which could, you know, even be lower cost to them and to the insurance as well.
You talk about being a registered nurse. In order to be a registered nurse, you have to take continuing education, so many credits each year. What did you do to get your continuing education credits in order to call yourself a nurse?
Thank you. Thank you for asking that question, fellow nurse. I do a lot of unnamed things to maintain my certification. And I also do so many things to help make beneficial laws in this country. You know, making laws is a lot like making sausage, which I have done in addition to being a nurse and changing a muffler. It isn't pretty, but it sure tastes good. And, you know, you say education is great, and it is. So I'll pray for you. Thank you.
I think you've got my dad all upset over here.
Now you need to start a third group too.
My only thing with that be is, well, why can you not show us where you get your continuing education? And because that's something that we deserve to know. If you're a nurse, and we deserve, and we are the ones who pay for the committee that gives you your license, so we should be able to know where you get that continuing education, and for you to call yourself a nurse every day.
And who pays for it?
You're on the same file with Trump's taxes.
I find that question slightly offensive. I prefer, I think that, you know, the Constitution guarantees us all a bit of privacy, unless you're a pregnant woman. So, anyway, thank you.
Speaking of pregnant women, there will be more pregnant women if we continue to cut funding for Planned Parenthood. I understand even that there are some Republicans who not only oppose abortion, but also oppose birth control. My question to you, I have two questions. Number one, how can you justify reducing funding for Planned Parenthood? And do you realize that if women do not have access to birth control, you're going to be paying for babies? So pay me now for birth control, or pay me later if I'm a poor woman. I'd like to hear your answer to that.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for that question. And as I sit in my house, I have never seen a poor woman, so I'm not even sure that that is a real issue. So I want to go ahead and address that first. As I said in my not staged at all and totally real town hall meeting for my constituents, one of my number one goals this year has been to defund Planned Parenthood. And boy, I've been wildly successful at that. So, as I said, my number one goal, aside from tax breaks for multinational corporations and millionaires like me, is to end taxpayer funding on abortion. We all know that no actual tax money is used to fund abortions, but what a fabulous way to engage my base by using this rhetoric. You all know that government money is being used to take a life, right? I am pro-life. And that's why I consistently vote to slash funding for social safety net programs. I hope that answered your question. Questions?
Her name is Kellyanne Conway.
So Congressman Black, abortion services only make up 3% of Planned Parenthood's services they provide. 97% of that are pregnancy and prenatal care and health screenings for cancer. So why would you want to cut funding for that when nearly 80% of Planned Parenthood patients are at or below 150% of the poverty level?
I saw the video.
Well, I believe if you're pro-life, you can't forget about them as soon as they're born, and that's what you're doing. So you're giving them, some of them, a death sentence.
Did I mention bootstraps? I think that I already mentioned bootstraps. So maybe part of our economic growth could be factories that make tiny baby-sized bootstraps.
All right, who's next?
Mrs. Black, I've got a question for you. And since you're a nurse, you may not understand this one. It's kind of a legal thing. But I've heard you speak about your opposition to common sense gun control laws. And I've heard you somewhat misstate the position of the people on the other side of the aisle, that they want to violate everyone's Second Amendment rights and want to take their guns away, when that simply isn't true. And so I was wondering about, one of the things that comes up often is about terrorists, when the actual, mass murders are not terrorists, it's Americans. And I saw a statistic that you're more likely being killed by a bear in Yellowstone Park than by a terrorist. So I'd like for you to explain your knowledge of the Second Amendment and how, like all other constitutional the Bill of Rights, that there are reasonable limitations balancing those rights against those of the public, and I'd like to hear what you think about that.
Well, I thank you for asking that question. That's a very good question. And what I'm going to do now is what I did at the MTSU Town Hall in Murfreesboro, and I'm going to pass the mic.
Well, I believe that you can still support the Second Amendment, but also require background checks. People who have been victims of domestic violence shouldn't have to worry about if the person is going to kill them or have access to a firearm. I support the Second Amendment. I've been hunting. I have family who have hunting, but background checks are a must, and I think that will definitely help us lower the rate for gun deaths and crime.
And again, I will say that the Second Amendment is sacrosanct here in Tennessee, as we all know, and I'm all for everyone's individual rights, unless you're pregnant.
So, Congressman Black, if you decide to run for governor, over half the people here in Tennessee support background checks.
I enjoy looking at my house in the background over there. So I pass the mic.
You done with it? Yeah. Who's next?
Congressman Black, I thank you. I won't have to watch Saturday Night Live now. A serious question is, I'm sure you're opposed to all the devastation that drug abuse has caused in our communities. What do you think the federal government can do to crack down on the methamphetamine epidemic? I've seen people's lives destroyed by it. I'd just like to know what you propose to do about it. And it's a healthcare question.
Thank you.
Well, I thank you very much for that question. That's a great question. And I just want to say that as a nurse, I 100% support our President Trump's top man on the job for the drug epidemic, in addition to all the other facets of government. Jared Kushner, who is not a person of interest right now in a White House investigation. Not.
I would say to that, instead of increasing military spending by over $50 billion, let's find a way to send money to states and communities because right now drug-related overdoses and crime costs $740 billion in not only law enforcement, court costs, but healthcare as well. So let's take some of that money that he wants to spend on defense and put into helping our communities and here in the 6th District, where it is a problem.
You're done? Next question? Well, let me get the girl behind you who hasn't asked one, and then we'll get you again. Come on, I gotta do what you gotta do.
Right, so 80% of the marijuana arrests in Tennessee were of people of African American descent. So how are you going to address the prison and like the racial implications of the prison system?
Thank you. All right, guys, I'm not seeing those red and green signs. If you don't like what she has to say and you really like what he has to say, put them signs up.
Thank you for that question, and that's a very good question. For this particular situation, I would always turn to my esteemed colleague, Jefferson Beauregard Sessions, who has really a fabulous plan for this.
I would support criminal justice reform. We have a problem with, we are the largest incarcerator of African Americans in the world, and also just the regular population, and we have to change that. And we also have to make sure that, and to do that, first we start with criminal justice reform, and go from there. And we definitely have to study the issue and find the problems and correct those, and we can do it. It's just a matter of someone doing it.
Sharon?
First is a commentary on this gun. They're going to take away our guns. I'm 71 years old. I have heard that for about 60 years. And we've still got our guns. Nobody has tried to take them away. So that is a fallacy that is not happening. It's been used as an excuse all these years, and it's not going to happen. And I'm tired of hearing that from the NRA. Nobody is going to take the guns away. They're going to take away guns that shouldn't be out there. That's all that's going to be taken away. So the other thing I had a question about was just this business with the criminal justice. Recently, I've been hearing that the new person that has been appointed to head the Justice Department or the criminal justice system is pushing for more arrests, much stiffer penalties, and that he has offhand an interest in for-profit prisons. Answer that, please.
Thank you for asking that question, and that's true.
On your comment about the NRA taking your guns away,
No, NRA isn't.
Well,
NRA is claiming that we're
well,
going to
they're using it to, solicit donations for their political action committee. If they would actually use the amount that they have in their political action committee, they would actually be able to fund gun safety classes all across the country, and they would be able to provide families with gun locks for their firearms. And for your, I'm against the for-profit prisons. We shouldn't be making money off of somebody's bad decision. That not only could we make it to a good decision because we can help them become better, productive citizens once they leave the correctional system. But for-profit prisons are a waste of taxpayer money.
For-profit prisons are bad. I worked in state-run prisons. Who's next? Anybody? Come on up.
I would like to ask, I've heard that a lot of us have been writing you and expressing how changing life insurance is going to affect us. And you sit there and you say that you're doing all you can to help us, and we're not seeing it. And you're sitting in a home that is worth millions of dollars, and you say that you can't do anything else to help us. I would like you to explain exactly what you're already doing to help us.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for that question. I always love seeing young people engaged in the political process. And I'm sure that you've received many form letters from me if you've written me a very personal and heartfelt letter with your concerns. And so that is one thing that my assistant is doing for you. So you could just read the letters that I wrote.
I would say that a congressman has to stay in touch with their people, and you do that by not only holding town hall meetings, but answering mail, but not giving the standard answer, because not every question, even though it may affect people in your district, your situation is different. And also, just instead of keep staying in Washington, being out in the district and